China files most AI patents. The US still controls far more public compute. At 5:43 a.m., in a crowded clinic corridor, a mother grips her son's wrist, waiting for a scan slot before another hospital takes it. This is the real stake. AI is projected to add $15.7 trillion to global GDP by 2030. Yet, more than 84% of that value is expected to stay in North America, China, and Europe. The same systems that could speed diagnosis, drug discovery, and climate modeling may be reserved first for militaries, giant firms, and rich states. The race is not one machine or one chatbot. It is a stack. China filed roughly 300,000 AI patent applications in 2024, about 70% of the global total, while the United States filed about 67,800. But public compute tells a different story. As of June 2025, the US held 48.4% of global public supercomputing capacity. So, the question is not who talks loudest about AI. It is which nation can turn chips, compute, talent, and electricity into systems that help ordinary people before the window to act closes. Modern AI begins with matrix math on advanced chips. Those chips are packed into servers, linked into clusters, and housed in data centers that need power, cooling, and fast networks. Training means feeding those systems huge volumes of text, images, protein structures, scans, and sensor data so they learn statistical patterns and make predictions. Deployment is harder. A useful model has to run reliably inside hospitals, laboratories, grids, and factories, not just in demos. That is why national strength in AI is split across several foundations: semiconductors, compute, talent, and electricity. More than 80 countries published national AI strategies between 2017 and June 2025, because they understand the prize is infrastructure, not software alone. Europe is part of that race too. The European Patent Office recorded a 50% increase in AI-related patent applications between 2015 and 2022, even though Europe's share of granted patents and citations remains small beside the US and China. But if applications are rising that fast, why does Europe still lag in turning them into influence? But then, the scoreboard stops making sense. The United States hosts the world's 3 exascale public systems: El Capitan at 1.742 exaflops, Frontier at 1.353, and Aurora at 1.012. By March 2025, one estimate put the US at 75% of global AI supercomputer performance, versus China's 15%. By March 2026, the US also had 171 supercomputers, 4 times Japan's 43. So one country leads patent volume, another leads visible compute. Scientists soon discovered something unexpected. The hardest bottleneck may not be code or talent. It may be electricity. AI-specific servers used an estimated 53 to 76 terawatt-hours in 2024, and could reach 165 to 326 by 2028. All data centers together used about 415 terawatt-hours in 2024, roughly 1.5% of world electricity. AI-optimized servers are forecast to hit 175 terawatt-hours in 2026, and pass conventional servers by 2027. A single advanced generative AI query used about 2.9 watt-hours in 2024, nearly 10 times a conventional Google search at 0.3. If that 2.9 watt-hour query sounds small, stay with CivilizationX. The scale problem appears when millions of them hit hospitals. If an AI screening tool is 99% specific and disease prevalence is 1%, then across 1 million people, it can flag about 10,000 true cases and about 10,000 false positives. That is not failure. It means population-scale AI needs follow-up clinics, radiologists, record systems, and power-hungry compute to separate signal from noise. But solving that created an entirely different problem. In May 2026, the US Department of Defense signed an agreement with 8 tech and AI companies, including SpaceX, OpenAI, Google, and NVIDIA, to help build an AI-first fighting force. The same infrastructure needed for early diagnosis and climate models is being pulled into military competition. So what is missing from China's 300,000 patents? Not ambition, not volume. What is missing is a simple patent-to-power pipeline. Patents do not guarantee exascale compute, cheap electricity, advanced chips, trusted deployment, or enough clinical capacity to act on what models find. And the same concentration of supply chains can centralize power, exactly as governance researchers warn, among chip suppliers, model developers, and data center owners. Within 5 to 15 years, nations that solve that stack could use AI to detect disease earlier, compress drug discovery, improve climate forecasting, and run more adaptive hospitals. The near-term milestone is already visible. Public AI budgets, including $3.316 billion in U.S. federal AI R&D for fiscal year 2025, and national plans, such as Germany's €3 billion AI strategy, are funding the physical layer. But the surprising constraint is that this money can accelerate capability faster than it expands the energy, chips, and data center capacity needed to sustain it. Xi Jinping has called AI development a symphony of international cooperation. The harder question is whether rivals behave that way under pressure. For the mother in that corridor, the race is not abstract. It decides whether a weak pattern in her son's body is found early enough to matter. Can any nation build AI health infrastructure that reaches patients first, before military demand and grid limits absorb the best systems? Subscribe to CivilizationX. This channel tracks the real engineering constraints behind intelligence, power, medicine, and the future they shape. The constraint is real. The data exists. Whether the systems built around it can act on it at scale, that is the next engineering problem.